that veil. I am on my way to Palmer Memorial Institute. It was founded by Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown. It was founded in 1902. I am here. I have the sign over here. It's a historical site, you all. It's the Charlotte Hawkins Brown State Historical Site. And I am getting ready to turn into this site here. I am very, very excited about this here, because this is the end of Black History Month. I am here, everyone, and I am very excited about this. This is my first time being here at this site, and it feels really good. It feels historical. I'm gonna walk up to a little, some little posters or whatever they have that tells and give us just a little information about this place. It's the Charlotte Hawkins Brown Museum. The Charlotte Hawkins Brown Museum opened in 1987 to preserve and interpret the history and legacy of Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown. Palmer Memorial Institute in American Education in North Carolina. It is located on the former campus of the nationally renowned Palmer Memorial Institute, they closed it in 1971. And this is quite a layout, you all. We're here and we're gonna go hopefully visit all of this area. Here we're gonna see the origins of the Palmer Memorial Institute, Carrie Stone Teachers College, Charles W. Elliott Hall, Brightside and Gregg Colleges, and Bryce May College, Canary College, Mediterranean Altar. Well, we're gonna actually see the grave of Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown. Y'all can see that. And there's other sites here too. Site of Alice Freeman Palmer Building, and it was destroyed in 1971. Stouffer Hall, early school campus, Kimball Hall, Massachusetts Congregational Women's House, Gallenstone Hall, Athletic, Agriculture, Bell Tower, Firehouse, Tea House, Athletic Field, Reynolds Hall. There's a lot of things to see here, you all. This museum is owned and operated by the state of North Carolina as an agency of the Division of State Historical Sites and Properties and North Carolina Department of Cultural Resources. Oh, that's good. I'll take it. Okay. This is the origins of the Palmer Memorial Institute. Oh, wow. Quite a bit of stuff here. Quite a bit. It's too much to read at this point because we are running a little late. Look at the pictures here, you all. Charlotte Hawkins at Bethany with community church leaders in the early 1900s. She is seated third from the right. Oh, wow. Student, teachers, and parents repairing this blacksmith shed, which housed Charlotte Hawkins and female students. Wow. This building, it will eventually house 40 students in Charlotte Hawkins. Girls live upstairs and boys downstairs. Also, we see here Charlotte Hawkins Center back row with Palmer Memorial Institute's teachers in 1905. As her school grew, she sought qualified teachers with college degrees and took them along on fundraising trips. That's interesting. I had no idea and no knowledge of history, you all. None whatsoever. This is sort of like a hidden treasure. But of course, we know there are a lot of things about Africa, America, people that the black people in general do not have knowledge of. But the last few years, we have been able to learn more than we've ever learned. Now, I know I am from eastern North Carolina, part of North Carolina, and there are a lot of things that we knew during that time, a lot of people don't know. For example, I'm right down there with Princeville, which is the first established slave town. And we were able to get that land was because of it was low for us to levee, and it was subject to flooding, which of course we've had many floods in Princeville. And during that time we also lost a lot of artifacts and different things like that. A lot of original stuff we lost in the flood. Some of it was recovered and some of it wasn't. But there's a lot of things that we just didn't know. There's a Carrie M. Stone College, 1948. Okay. I need to put my mask on then. Are we going here, Celia? Mm-hmm. Okay, from Air Castle to Prep School, donors to Palmer Memorial Institute. Here are some of the donors. There's benefactors, early benefactors. Okay. This is a interesting place. Wow. There's a lot of history here.
Okay. We're doing a tour if you want to look inside the house. Oh, really? Photos are welcome. Oh, thank you.
Mary.
Oh,
Oh, look at this. We are going into...
all right, if you all want to join me in the living room.
Okay. I guess it's canary, it's yellow.
Here.
This is the what, canary club?
Yeah, so this is Canary Cottage.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I always love when I have a tour that kind of blends different groups and different people. So I like to first find out, like, how did everybody learn about the site or come by Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown or Palmer Institute?
Well,
I live nearby in Whitsett, and I've always driven past here. And then I looked online on Google to find out more about it.
Okay. Had you known anything about it before? Yeah, it's one of those like hidden histories, right? Which should not be a hidden history. One, African American history doesn't get touched on enough in school curriculum, and women's history doesn't get touched on enough. And right now, this is the only state historic site that interprets both the history of an African American and a woman, which makes it really important and really critical to talk about this history. So Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown was born Lottie Hawkins in Henderson, North Carolina, so in Vance County, which is just kind of northeast North Carolina. Her mother had the wherewithal when she was very young to move her and her brother to Massachusetts, where she was able to gain an integrated public school education. Once she was in school, when she was in high school, the story goes, and Charlotte tells it herself, that she was reading Virgil in a park while she was babysitting. And a woman by the name of Alice Freeman Palmer noticed her in the park and was really impressed by this young woman babysitting and reading a book in Latin. So it was Virgil in Latin. So they struck up a conversation. And Alice Freeman Palmer was the first female president of Wellesley College in Massachusetts. And she was so impressed by Dr. Brown that she wanted to meet her mother, meet her family, found out where she was from. So it was her that convinced Charlotte to attend college after high school and helped pay for her to go to normal school. So once Charlotte was in normal school for 1 year, so it was just teachers college, she was given 2 opportunities. One, either to teach at a established school in Florida, or 2, to teach at a one-room schoolhouse at a church in North Carolina. And she really felt like that was God calling her to come back to North Carolina, where her family was from, and teach Black students who were living out in this rural area. So she did through the American Missionary Association. She taught at Bethany Church, which is across the street from the parking lot where you guys all parked at. The American Missionary Association pulled funding after the first year, not because of anything Charlotte did, just because the American Missionary Association was pulling funding from many schools. They had been funding them since the end of the Civil War, and it was just kind of resources were running out. People in the town of Sedalia loved Charlotte so much that they helped her raise enough money to buy an old blacksmith shop, which once stood in the parking lot where you guys parked. And that's where she opened her first one-room schoolhouse and started the school at the age of 19.
Oh, wow.
Like, is that not, I try to think about what I was doing when I was 19. It was a lot of no good. I was not doing positive things like Dr. Brown. But it really did, it started as a one-room schoolhouse really to serve underserved kids, really unserved kids in this part of Guilford County. Schools were segregated in Guilford County, and no segregated schools came out this far. So these students really had no other options. Dr. Brown worked very closely with Guilford County to get Sedalia School open eventually. They are now at elementary school next door to us.
Yes.
But when they were first open, they were an all ages segregated school for this part of Guilford County. Once that was open, she was really able to shift the curriculum here to being more focused on middle school and high school students and having a college preparatory type of curriculum. So her house is actually decorated for what it would have looked like in the 1940s, but it was built in 1925, which I want you guys to think, like, this is a 3,000 square foot, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house, built for a single Black woman in segregated North Carolina, right on Highway 70. So this would have been the main thoroughfare that people would have come through and seen this home. This house and other buildings on campus were the first buildings in Sedalia to have running water and indoor plumbing, which made it pretty fancy. We've had people in Sedalia call this house the Biltmore of Sedalia, which I think is pretty perfect for Dr. Brown. I do want to invite you to kind of look around the living room, but I do want you to definitely notice the piano, especially if you're videoing. Go to the front and get a good video of that picture that's on there. The woman in the picture is Miss Maria Hawkins. That was Dr. Brown's niece that grew up here, was raised here, went to school here. When she graduated, she became a pretty well-known musician. She released a couple of albums and performed with the Duke Ellington Orchestra. When she was performing with the Duke Ellington Orchestra in New York, that's when she met her future husband, Mr. Nat King Cole. Oh, really? Yes. So Nat King Cole and Maria Hawkins Cole, they actually had their wedding reception here and would come back to campus once or twice a year to visit Aunt Lottie and to visit the school. So Nat King Cole actually gave a couple of benefit concerts in Greensboro to help raise money for the school, and he bought the school's athletic bus, which they called Brown Sugar. or get the kids to where they needed to go to compete.
So is she also Natalie Cole's mother?
Yes. So Natalie Cole did spend a little bit of time here as a very young child.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it is really sad when I bring like school age children in here because I'm like, Nat King Cole, guys.
No, I'm not getting
like, like who is that? I'll look it up on YouTube. I know you kids are all on YouTube. So this open floor plan is not really typical to a southern home, right? It's not something that we would have grown up seeing. But Dr. Brown's mother actually ran a boarding house in Massachusetts. They were very close to Harvard. Harvard at the time Dr. Brown lived there with her mom accepted black men into their academic programs, but those men had nowhere to live on campus. So many families off campus would open their homes as boarding homes, so those young men could stay and attend classes.
Oh, wow.
So it's a little bit modeled after that. You'll see some of the artwork on the walls is kind of a very Puritan New England style artwork, but it's something that she would have been very familiar with and grown up with.
So who paid for it? This was really palatial at the time.
Yeah, so the same people that paid for this house paid for other buildings on campus. She had lots of donors. Many of them were wealthy white donors from New England. Because remember, New England already had integrated education in the north, and they really saw the South as being backwards for not having integrated education. Now, I also have to like put a point to this sentence. These donors did not always just give money because they were like philanthropic givers. Charlotte also there was always an agricultural program here, and there was a mechanical program here. And Dr. Brown did that because she knew wealthy white people would feel more comfortable giving money to agricultural and mechanical programs. Because she knew that white people of the time would prefer a school to train blacks how to use their hands, right? So, but when she got the money, she started introducing programs like creative writing, fine arts, advanced sciences and mathematics, literature, languages. She really knew how to kind of straddle this line that never bordering on unethical, but she definitely was willing to tell people what they needed to hear so that she could accomplish her goals. So that's where the money for this house. Yeah, it's
It
smart.
sort of reminds me too, like Booker T. Washington, more so like technical, work, agricultural work, not too many focuses on things like the classics and whatnot. So it's good that she tried to incorporate all of that.
Yes, I'm glad you bring that up because she did kind of, and that was the line she was kind of straddling, that difference between the Booker T. Washington way of thinking and the Du Bois way of thinking. In fact, she even gave Booker T. Washington's eulogy after he passed. They were contemporaries. So, you ask yourself, like, why do people know who Booker T. Washington was and not Charlotte Hawkins Brown?
Right.
I mean, it's definitely, that's that gendered part of it. And Dr. Brown was also, along with Mary McLeod Bethune, which is a name many people have heard of, because Bethune ran around with a white woman named Eleanor Roosevelt, who was, the first lady of the United States, and made people very comfortable. But then Nannie Helen Burroughs, she started the training school for girls and women in Washington, D.C. So those three women together, Burroughs, Brown, and Bethune, they were known as the 3 B's of African American education, and they really worked to support each other. They were oftentimes doing fundraisers for each other, sending funds to each other. Women had to be very supportive of one another in this time, certainly.
What about resistance? The state has had a pretty dark history. So
Yeah, the state has had a dark history. There were never not recorded instances of there being any type of resistance against students here.
Big house.
But the town of Sedalia that we're situated in has always been a predominantly African American community. So she really was kind of buffered in a safe space. Students were not allowed to leave campus without a chaperone, so there wouldn't have been instances where students could put themselves in a dangerous position. And Dr. Brown she was very much a social justice advocate. She traveled the world giving speeches focusing on women's rights, African American rights, workers' rights, immigrant rights. we had students here as far away as, the furthest I've seen is Tokyo, Japan. Students from Ethiopia, students from South America, and students were coming from all over to attend here.
Was it integrated or was it all black?
It was always black. But that was in response to segregation in North Carolina. So.
So look at the phone.
So the upstairs is also open if you're comfortable going up there.
Okay.
There is a bedroom up there that does not have a bed in it. That is Dr. Brown's bedroom.
Oh,
So we
okay.
have all of her original furnishings except for bed, so rather than mess with the integrity of the room, I think we all know what a bed looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Were the downstairs furnishings originally?
Most of the downstairs furnishings.
Yeah.
That's the old fashioned radiators.
That's amazing.
Those things.
So the furniture we have is here.
Oh my
With
God.
your
Glass knobs,
administrative
yeah.
office.
Oh.
So because we have the furniture, we have to show it off. I also like to think about all of the things that happened at this desk, right? The speeches she was writing, the students she was lecturing.
That's a bathroom.
They could tell. So you see the half bath down here, it's gorgeous.
I'm not getting you on camera, by the way. Just my family and the tour guide.
So one of the only places outside of here that you can hear about Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown, she's not at the Museum of African American History and Culture in DC yet.
Okay.
Yet. I'm working to get her in there. But she is in the Smithsonian American History Museum, oddly enough, in the transportation section. She's not talked about when it comes to education, and I'll tell you why. So Dr. Brown was on her way to Memphis to give a speech to a interracial women's group. On her way to the meeting, she had paid for a sleeper car on the train. She left her sleeper car to get some sort of provisions and was met by an angry mob of white men. And they told her that she needed to get on the segregated car or they would eject her from the train. She was, of course, furious about it, but swallowed her pride and went to the segregated car. When she arrived at Memphis to give her speech, she noticed that there were a couple of women in the audience that were on that train. So she essentially scrapped her speech and instead gave a good lecture to this interracial group of women at this club meeting, saying, you know, you cannot talk about interracial cooperation and not do the work. White
That's
women,
true.
you cannot sit by the side and not speak up when you see injustice happening to someone.
That's true.
So Dr. Brown gave that speech. She actually found a lawyer to help her sue the Pullman Train Company. So she became the first woman of color to sue the Pullman Train Company and win an award.
Oh, wow.
She did not win what she sued for. She did win a reimbursement price for the price of her ticket. So it was a very small settlement, but still a very large.
Big statement.
Yeah, it was a big statement. She did sue and she did win. So that's why you'll find her in the transportation section of the American History Museum, but there needs to be more stories told about it. Absolutely. You can see an old advertisement for it on the top here.
That's the radio?
So if you look at the price of it, I want my coworker that recently resigned, she did the inflation ratio on it. If you bought that radio today at that price, it would be about $2,000.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
my goodness.
That's how high tech it was. at the
I'm
time.
telling you.
That's amazing. Okay.
Upstairs right quick. We are going upstairs. This is very interesting. We are learning a lot of things that I didn't know. So, you know, this is Black history, and we do know a lot of things about Africa, America, you know. People was not told. Here's one of the bedrooms. This is a big house. I think she said what it was like about 3,000 square feet. Wow. seen furniture like this here. My grandmother's house. Maybe not this quality, but other furniture. This is Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown bedroom, y'all. This was her bedroom. It's not a bed in it. This was her bedroom. Stuff or not. Not too sure about that. Also has a bathroom. Look at the tub. And we have to get back downstairs. Oh, look at the claw foot tub, you all. The claw feet. Wow. Interesting. Okay, I guess we need to go back downstairs. There's another one. Look at the old scale. Look at the scale. The bathroom scale. This is a beautiful place, though. I love these floors.
You know, the 4 bedrooms that she would invite people.
Yeah, so people who were visiting could stay here, prospective families. And then she would have some teachers staying here with her. And then sometimes very young to live in the dormitories. She would allow those young girls to stay here with her. They were known as cottage kids.
Oh, wow. It is
So
so
I do want to make sure,
interesting.
because you guys seem like strong women. So I have to show you my trio of strong women here on the mantle. This is Dr. Brown getting one of her honorary
see ya.
PhDs.
Oh, wow.
Her PhDs come from Lincoln, Wilberforce, Howard, and Tuskegee.
Wow.
So she, man, guys, I have 1 master's degree. She really puts me to shame. But this is her mother, Carrie. I have a lot of love and respect for Carrie because Carrie was smart enough to move her children north so that they could gain an integrated public school education. And she, she really cared about the opportunities her children would have. She worked really hard running a boarding house and working as a laundress and just really doing some gritty work so that her kids could have better opportunities than her. And this is Charlotte's grandmother. This is Rebecca Hawkins.
Oh, wow.
She was born enslaved on the Hawkins plantation, right? That's where the family got their name from. So Rebecca Hawkins, records are unclear. She gave birth to anywhere between 17 and 21 children,
Ooh.
which is a lot of children. As adults, we can talk about how probably not all of those children came from consensual relationships. Rebecca Hawkins, after she was emancipated, and this is another kind of clue to that, she was actually given quite a bit of land, and she became a very well-known midwife in Vance County. And at the time she passed, there was actually an obituary written up in the white newspaper. She was so well respected and had enough money and land to be able to leave it to her children, which was really unheard of in her time in North Carolina. So those are our 3 powerhouse women. And Charlotte really credits her mother and her grandmother for giving her, like teaching her the etiquette rules, teaching her how to read and really holding her up to a high standard. And that's what she wanted to do for her students. And please let me know if you guys have any questions at all.
Okay. Okay. You all, this is the dining room area. Look at the cake and the cookies. Oh, look at the silver. Good as I love to eat. Now, you know, I can't miss this kitchen. Oh my goodness. Look, you know what this is? Put this here and pass the food through this area here. Oh wow. Look at the china. Oh, look at the kitchen. Oh wow. Look at the, oh my God. You know, now we got the single one, stand up one, at least, you know, I do too. Look at the windows, just like me, I like windows in my kitchen. Oh, look at the stove. What's that? Burning here? Well, it's a skillet. I think it's a skillet holder. Skillet holder. Of course, look at the refrigerator. Oh my God, look, you all. Kerosene refrigerator. Kerosene refrigerator. Oh my God. That company probably not even, you can't even hear of it. I've not heard of it anymore. Oh, a screen-in porch. Well, there's a porch out there. See? Got a pantry here. Oh my goodness. Yes. But I remember some of this, you know, you have the, I don't see it, but you take this out and journal wheels never burn, raised register. See, that's the oven here. Oh, wow. See? You put your Sears and Roebuck and Company babies here. And I want to ask her, remove and clean, what's it? Clean what? Or? Oh, wow. And the chimney coming out of the house, you know, like that. I remember I grew up, you know, the house, well, when I was a child, before we moved, I guess, to the modern, moving on, as they say, I'm moving on up. Oh, wow, this is nice. The serving tray and the silver and all that stuff.
Now, my favorite thing with these.
Woo, it's a mess. Okay, you all, we're gonna take a picture of this nice canary cottage. And this is where she lived. This is her house. And wow. This is her house, you all. This is here it says, was a personal resident of Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown, where she hosted numerous social functions for faculty, students, and her many friends. That's her niece there. Marie Hawkins Cole, she married Nat King Cole, you all. Remember Nat King Cole? Smooth operator, the smooth velvet voice. She married him. The house is beautiful. It's really beautiful. They said the house is currently restored and furnished to look like it would have in the late 1930s and 1940s. And Dr. Brown lived here with her 3 nieces, all students at Palmer. And also was a home for female teachers and other women staff members, as well as younger students and visiting relatives. Oh, wow. You all, here's a lot of history here. And also students met Dr. Brown and the other Palmer faculty at the formal reception in 1955. I would say, you all, please come out. They talked about here to train students in cultural behavior. Dr. Brown hosts teas and other social events in her home. She had a formal reception on the east side long before the first day of class here. So I would say, please come out. It's a lot of education here. It's a lot of history here. It's a lot of history here that Africa, Americans, you know, blacks, and so forth, we need to know about. So we're going to continue the tour. But it's a beautiful house, though. We're going to continue the tour. I'm taking some pictures in front of her residence, and I really like it. I really love it. It's really empowering, you all. It's very powerful. Of all the things she did at such a young age, you know, it's just let us know, you know, that the opportunities and possibilities are limitless for us as minorities. So we're going to continue walking the grounds of this great museum. It's a nice day out here. It's peaceful. This is another house here. This is where we met here. I'm not too sure about the history behind this one here. This building here, to my right now, is the visitor center. It's beautiful out here. Here, so many things to see. Trees, and these are cedar trees. Look at cedar. I like cedar, yeah. I can smell the cedar. These are cedar trees. Yeah. There's a lot going on out here and everything. Right. So I'm not too sure where we're going. Most of this here, all except for her resident, it's a self-guided tour. So you go on your own and you just look at the little plaques in front of whatever area you want to look at. Like here's one here to my left. Not too sure what's on this. Oh, meditation altar. Oh my goodness. So I guess that's the altar right there. Palmer groundskeeper James Rudd Sr. constructed the altar with stones brought from across the country and the Caribbean. Whoa. Each morning, Brown prayed before beginning her long day at school. The altar was a favorite place for students and faculties to enjoy the scenic beauty of the campus while relaxing and studying, but also was used as a time-out area for students who did not follow Brown's strict rules. Oh, I would love to have a time out here. I can imagine what it probably looked like when it was first, constructed.
Can you imagine like all the many prayers that she prayed morning and other people prayed as they got there?
I cannot even imagine all the prayers.
I had to touch it.
Mm-hmm. I have my mask off you all, but here's the wide opening area and there's nobody out here. So it's sort of hard to talk in with the mask on. So we're gonna continue the self-guided tour. We'll go over here to another little stand over here. See the benches and stuff, and you can imagine how it was probably years ago when it was really beautiful. They are in the process now of doing some upgrades and all of that. And I guess the word for it's not upgrades, because they're trying to restore, it back to what it was. And I think she mentioned that one of the houses. Did she mention one of the houses that they were going to restore something? Oh, that's that bell that we're trying to get to. Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown, 1883 to 1961. Wow, I was 1 year old. A remarkable example of achievement in the face of segregation and discrimination. Charlotte Hawkins Brown was buried on the grounds of the school she led for 50 years. Wow. She was born in Vance County, the granddaughter of a slave. Just let you know, you all, that just because you were born in the era of when they had the, just to let you know that just because your ancestors have slave heritage doesn't mean that you can't go on to achieve great things, which she did. She was awful smart. She became a noted public speaker, traveling throughout the United States and abroad. Oh, wow. In 1945, she spoke at the International Congress of Women in Paris. Can you imagine being a woman of color speaking in 1945? Wow. She was founder and long-serving president of the North Carolina Federation of Negro Women's Club, vice president of the National Council of Negro Women, first African American elected to the board of the National YWCA. I did not know any of this. Also the author of The Correct Thing to Do, to Say, to Wear. Oh, wow. Wow. And it just goes on, to say when she opened this school in 1902, Bethany School. And this is some good reading you can read. We're at her grave site, you all. Oh, this is wonderful. This is at her grave site. Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown, June the 11th, 1983 through January the 11th, 1961. So she was born on June the 11th, 1883, and she died on January the 11th, 1961. Wow. So Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown, founder and builder of the Alice Freeman Palmer Memorial Institute. leader of women in their quest for finer and more productive living, mentored by her writings of those seeking to live more graciously by her eloquency, inspire youth to noble achievements by her vigor of mind and force of character, champion for a disadvantaged race in its striving for human rights and adult responsibilities. She gave 58 years completely of her unique energies and talents to the building of this institute from its humblest of beginnings in an old blacksmith shop. Her vision, dedication, singleness of purpose, and undoubted faith made this school possible in her native state of North Carolina. May her memory in turn lead inspiration always to the place and its people. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. She's out here by the trees, by the cedar tree. Oh, wow. Hard to believe that, because I don't know how tall she was. Oh, there's another headstone. What headstone is this one? Oh, in memory of Dr. Charlotte Hawkins Brown, founder, educator, humanitarian, in 1976 elected by the Association for Study of Afro-America Life and History in cooperation with the Amico Foundation Incorporated. Okay. Wow. That's wonderful. We're going to keep walking on the path here. But that house is beautiful. If you look back at it, even then, her residence is very beautiful, you all. Can you imagine how it looked in that time, a black woman living in a place like that? Right over here in the main, I say, thoroughway going, it's just amazing. All these beautiful magnolia trees smell so good when the big old flowers blossom. Have a lot of cedar. Those look almost like leaves. I'm not too sure. A lot of cedar trees. Okay, I'm not too sure what this was. It's just a big open area. Maybe it was a gathering spot or something. Not too sure. We're gonna get to ring that bell. I don't know what that is right there. Okay. On the pathway. When I hear that bell, it just reminds me of freedom. Closed to the public by order of North Carolina Division of State. I'm not too sure what that is. I would say to anyone, but mainly I'm talking right now to my Africa America family. Please come out here. It's located in Sedalia? Sedalia, North Carolina, you all. It's very interesting, and these are the things that we need to know. These are the things that we kept from us. I would say, Nan, since we're really having that talk about history and the contributions of Black Americans, then we need to educate ourselves even more. We really do. Because I feel that the cover's been, how can I say it? I feel like a lot of things have been hidden long enough. Now it's time to reveal some things. Now it's time to reveal the accomplishments of African American people. And since we're coming out, I think we need to continue. This is the tea house. Here we're talking about the tea house. It was a campus snack shop and a bookstore, but also served as a hands-on learning center for business management, illustrating a typical Palmer method of teaching. Each year, students operated the tea house in hopes of making it a profitable business. They practiced theories of buying and selling, planning, budgeting, cooperation, and service. See, here they was really like learning a trade. That's the class of 1947. Enjoying a moment of fellowship and cheer in the tea house. Palmer seniors relaxed after a hard day. Said the students also, they ran a sandwich shop and all of that. Favorite hangout. Specific times the girls were not allowed to go after supper. That restriction offered boys a chance to buy treats and take them to their sweethearts. Another favorite diversion was card games, such as Bid Whiz. Brown has not always allowed card playing, but eventually permitted games that did not involve gambling. I agree with that. We are going to ring this bell. I can't wait to do it. Ring this bell. All of them go on the other side. Make my voice heard. Bell tower. The bell tower signaled the beginning and end of most activities at the Palmer Memorial Institute. These included classes, farming, meals, light-outs, and community, as well as campus emergencies. Oh, really? Wow. Oh, God, look at that bell. Oh, wow. I got to do this one more time. Oh, wow. That's empowering. Empowering.
I'm gonna ring the bell, y'all. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Woo. Wow. That's amazing. I'm gonna do it one more time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Energy you get from ringing that bell.
Yes.
Ring it harder. One more time. Tia.
One more time. Did you just focus on me this time?
Harder.
One more time. Awesome. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to ring the bell tower bell at Charlotte Hawkins Brown School, now Museum. Amazing.
Okay, we're going to continue this little great museum tour. I got to see what's over here. This is agriculture training. Oh, over there, the formative years between 1903 and 1907 were very important in the history of Palmer Institute. By the end of 1907, Brown School had reached a certain stability. Helen F. Kimball brought to a 200-acre farm and gave 1/3 of it to Palmer as a means for students to grow their own food. Farm sales provided income for the school. Brown purchased 254 more acres for the school. Counting the purchase, Palmer owned about 350 acres. See, you all, they did this here because it was said, you know, they like to see us work with our hands. And so with, you know, the agriculture, you know, growing the food and all of that, which, you know, black people are used to doing that, you know, working on the farm, growing the food. That was in itself a means of paying your way. And you also, you know, the cooking and all of that, you know, because they did things like agriculture, industrial arts, home economics begun, raising crops, you know, making repairs to building, things like that, you all, things that we did working by our hands. But, you know, that's the history of the African Americans. You know, we have always worked with our hands. That's how we were able to make our living. That's how we were able to feed our families, feed ourselves. And really, that was the way that really helped us to, I say, get a better way of life, earn a better way of life, to have better things. So they have everything here, and everything that they did, she would inspect it. You know, they even got dairy farms and stuff like that. Here, old-fashioned corn shucking. I shucked a lot of corn and all that kind of stuff. So yes. Okay, I guess this is the agriculture. This is the building. Just look at it. All here. We're going to continue the tour. We are walking back around. Y'all, there's another plaque here. We're going to see what that says. A lot of history here. And this is just what we know. What about the history of what we don't know? Some things we would never know. Oh, look at here. Athletes at Palmer. Oh, female students in physical education class in the 1920s. But they had cheerleaders. They had boxer. They were boxing. Oh, look. Like football team and basketball. A shot of the Palmer Pirates backfield in action. Wooden gymnasium was the focal point of many of the social and athletic activities. Coach Charles Bumridge, Palmer's 4th president, explains a play to the Palmer Pirates. Oh, wow. Interesting. See, they had everything here, just like any other school. Normally, you know, if you didn't know, you say, okay, they just had just one thing. But it was really a school that had everything. Galen, was that Galen Stone Hall? Of course, we can't get inside to see, but I'm gonna go up here on these steps and peek through the window. This is like a hall that, oh, what is this right here? Oh, wow. That's nice. Let's see what this is. Water fountain. Imagine how pretty that was. I don't know what this was. Go to the front of it, you can see. We're gonna see this building first. Walk across it. See that building, then we'll come back to that one. So we just flat. I don't know why the trees have these little circles on them. I have no idea. Is that just graffiti or what? Is that living? That is living. Really? It's real. It is real. Those are, look, the flowers are blooming early. I don't know what they are, but I would like to have some of those. We need a few repairs around here, you see. Oh, okay. What is that, Galen or Galen? L. Stone Hall, 1927. Okay, it's hall built, dedicated memory of Mrs. Stone by far Palmer, largest contributor. Oh, it was a school dormitory for the girls. In the 1950s, Stone Hall suffered a disastrous fire. By the following fall, however, after a whirlwind campaign by Brown, it had been completely renovated. Oh wow, look. Many clothes at Palmer, picture above is Stone Hall Student Council. They had everything. Senior girls slept two to a room, while others slept as many as 4 to a room. So it's always, you know, seniors, they had a little privilege. It was, you know, oh, Stone Hall, a view of Stone Hall after the fire in 1950. Okay. Oh wow. I'm gonna be nosy. I'm gonna peek in here right quick. Keep it moving. See where it goes. Do not enter. Closed by public. Oh wow. Look at those little rooms and stuff. I see a bathroom in there and everything. Wow. We're gonna continue the tour here. You all, we have had a wonderful time. Look at here, look at the scenery. You all, for the time, and when you think about it, this was really upscale. But in the time here, very upscale. This is the Kimball Hall. I got to be nosy. I got to peek in here. Right. Oh, okay. So what then? She said they.
Like people rent it for like events.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's not historical inside, but it's restored.
Oh, I like those floors. Oh, wow.
These groups will have me go through that, but yeah, not many of them, but this one is what they're like.
Oh, wow. We're learning that some of the alumni actually will have events here. This is the Kimball School Dining Hall, built in 1927. In honor of the Kimball family of Massachusetts. In 1907, Helen F. Kimball purchased a 200-acre farm for the school's use. Oh, wow. Students, waiters serve classmates during a meal. The head waiter monitors lunch in Kimball Hall. Oh, wow. Well, it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. Really. Look at all this history. You can just stop. Did you get down to the bottom? You just stop, you know, the video and just read. There's a lot going on. And did she say something about a building down there? Did she mention about a building down there?
There's another building down there where they would have also having meetings and also dinners and fundraisers.
Down that way? Oh, yeah, we can't see that though.
That they need to tighten up.
We're going to continue to tour you all. Here's another building, Charles W. What, Alec? Hall. I might be pronouncing this wrong. Too sure. Oh wow, look at here. Another building here. The hall name in honor. Know the education Charles. Oh, wow. That's all right. Oh wow, look at this kind of moss. Never seen that before. Really? This is the Brightside and Greg Mary Teachers Colleges. Bryson and May, sub-freshman, what, boys 7th and 8th grade. Okay, we're gonna keep on walking. Y'all look at these little trees. Look at this moss. Oh wow. Hey. We used to pick these up a long time ago, years ago. And you get you some toothpicks and you spray it. You have some glitter, spray it, get you some spray paint, either silver or gold or both. And see the little holes? Stick the toothpicks in it and you have you like a little star. Look at the building. I'm not too sure what this is here. I'm not too sure. You know, I don't know if I can even go here safely. Yeah, it's safe. Can't see anything through here. Hopefully one day they will open this here. I'm not too sure what it is. What's in it? I know
Cottages.
The marriage colleges, I guess. I think they were married. Wow. Very interesting. Here's another one, I assume. Wow. I think I might can peep in this one here a little bit. Oh, porch. These are porches you all remember years ago. Oh, wow. Got walls and everything torn out in there. Nothing like having a porch and a long porch. Another building over here. Okay. Y'all, this has been a wonderful tour. Say it's a lot of things that I have learned. This must be another college. for married people. This building right here. What is this building here? We're gonna walk around here right quick. People just see a little, cut across the way a little bit here. Because it's about closing time. So they're about ready to close. But this has been an interesting tour. I would say, please come. Please come out here, you all. It's been an interesting tour. It's things that we, people of color, really need to know. And it's also good for people that are not of our color to be educated on the good things that, you know, a lot of minorities have done that was hidden, or as they say, well, you know, slid under the rug, because we made valuable contributions to the country, you know, so we should be honored for it. You know, we should, as they say, get our dues. So I'm gonna take a few more minutes here. We're wrapping things up. There was rentals. This is a boys' dormitory, you all. So that's the boys' dormitory where I just walked off. So the girls on the other side, which we showed you, and the boys is on this side. So I guess they want to make sure they kept them apart. You know why. That's not it. That's something over there. Different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so we got what we started on here. So this is the museum. Did you look at this here, peek through here? This is where we started from. Right here. We peek through this door right quick. We're on our way out. Oh, wow. It's amazing. This place is big. Oh, wow. It's amazing. It's amazing. I got some of the beautiful floors. Okay, you all, this has been the tour of the museum. And it's been a great one. And we have enjoyed ourselves. And I would say, please come out. This is something that you need to know. I would say, you all, this has been very educational. I would say, please come out. This is something that you all need to know. There is so many things. We have learned so much today. And of course, there are a lot of things that we will probably never know. But I would say that this young lady was a person that was well beyond her time in everything she did and all the contributions she made to our country and to the blacks. A little late in life, you know, it's like bittersweet. There are a lot of things that we're learning now about our Black Americans, you know, that things we didn't know because we've never been painted in that light of having any self-worth. But when you look at the things that we're learning and the things we do, then, you know, it makes you very proud. It makes you very proud to know that you have contribute. Make you very proud to know that you have contributed a lot of things to our people as a whole. Have contributed a lot of good things to society. I know a lot of things, you know, we wasn't recognized for, but we were the pioneer of a lot of things. So I would say, come out here, enjoy yourself. I will put the hours of operation on my YouTube, so you will know the hours to come out here. But please take this trip. You're gonna enjoy it. Take this tour. Look at this museum, because it's very beneficial. Okay, talk to you later.
Bye.